Hello. I'm on a plane to Mexico, and I'm still alive. She was a Mexican girl. She had Mexican blood. Welcome to another Notes from Mexico. I'm sitting out on, hold on, kill it! Okay. Oh, I said kill it! Alright, I think I killed it. I'm on the balcony of the place we're staying in Ixtapa, Zihuatanejo, Mexico. I can hear the beach and the waves crashing. I'm going to open up a fine Tecate. I have noticed that the Tecates taste a little bit better in Mexico. Maybe it's because I'm on vacation. I think I said with this fine Tecate. Oh, that's good. The 12th one of the day is always the best. Oh. All right. Well, since we last spoke, I had booked a fishing trip by myself because I couldn't, hold on, I need to cough. I couldn't find anybody in this group of people. There were 9 of us, including a baby, that wanted to fish. So I went by myself. I took a cab. I had to call a taxi, which I did not speak English, but I managed to figure out how to call a taxi at 6 a.m. The night before, I had all kinds of crazy dreams. I dreamt that I got kidnapped. I dreamt that everybody else got kidnapped and that we were all stranded in Mexico and couldn't get back. I realized that my subconscious is extremely racist, and I apologize. How it did turn out, though, is I took a cab to Zihuatanejo Pier by myself. I brought a cooler with some food in it and a few beers and some water. I met the man who owns the fishing company, which was called Temo, T-E-M-O, Temo's Sport Fishing. He met me on the dock, and he was not fishing. He looked like a businessman type guy, and told me that those 2 guys out there will be taking you fishing. It was a man and his son, an older man, about maybe a little bit older than me. I don't know, he looked older than me. And his son, who was 30 years old. So, and he spoke a little bit of English. Son spoke 0 English. But we stopped, we got some live bait, and I sat there and didn't really talk too much. When the microphone is not in front of my mouth, I become a complete introvert and a bore. I mean, not that this show is not boring. By the way, thank you for sticking with me on these updates. I'll resume my regularly scheduled programming when I return to San Francisco on Wednesday morning. But for now, thank you for thank you for sticking with me. I know there's a ton of podcasts out there that you can listen to. There's there's all kinds of music. There's Mitch LaFont. There's the classic, all those guys. But if you're sticking with this one, I really appreciate it, friends. So anyway, I got on the boat, and off we went. We stopped. We got some bait, and then the guy's son rigged up 4 rods. They were spinning rods or spinning reels, and immediately I said, "Oh, I'm not too experienced with spinning reels because I usually use conventional reels out in the ocean." And I tried to tell him that. He looked at me like he didn't know what the hell I was talking about. But we started trolling out. We made it about, I don't know, maybe about 20 minutes out, and fish on. The first fish on was what was called a needlefish. It is this long eel-looking fish that has a long snout and big teeth. And the needlefish bit the guy on the arm. His arm was bleeding, but he said he was okay. And we trolled some more, and we trolled and trolled and trolled and fished and fished and fished. Caught a couple more needlefish, threw them back. Then we got a couple of bonitos. Now, bonito is good eating. It's a cross between a tuna and a mackerel. And I happen to love mackerel. So I was excited about that. I was like, all right, we're off to a good start here. And then got So what would happen is they put all the lines down, and then when something was on, they'd go, take the fish. They'd point to me, take the fish. So I grabbed the line and reel in, and the son was fishing off the bottom, and he got a bite, and he said, hey, take the fish, and he handed me the rod, and I reeled like a motherfucker. I didn't really know what was on there. This thing was so effing heavy. Turned out the guy said it was probably a good maybe 35-inch snapper, which I lost it because I reeled like a furious maniac instead of letting the thing tire out. I learned after that, just take your time and go easy. But I was all excited, and consequently I lost a big, huge snapper. But all in all, we caught 7 bonito. By we, I mean I reeled in every fish. 7 bonito, a Spanish mackerel, a mahi-mahi, a jack crevalle, and probably about 7 needlefish, which I kept 5 of the bonito. I kept the Spanish mackerel, and I kept the mahi-mahi. And I told the guys on the boat they can keep the rest or give it to the guys, because when we came back in, a bunch of guys were greeting the boat, and you got some fish for me, amigos, you have some fish for me, and the captain said here's some fish. And I brought home 5 bonito, a mahi-mahi, and a Spanish mackerel, and I've had a lot of sashimi so far with the bonito. I made a little bit of sashimi with some of the mahi-mahi. Have not broke into the Spanish mackerel yet. Kevin, my wife's brother, who is here, he's kind of arranging this whole place. And by the way, this place we are staying is amazing. It's called the Amara Resort or something like that. On each side, there are full hotels full of Mexican tourists. We're the only American tourists at this place in this entire town that I have seen. Actually, I take that back. We went snorkeling, but I'll talk about that in a second. Not snorkeling, scuba diving. Anyway, we're the only Americans. This place has 5, there's how many couples? There's me and my wife, Kevin and his wife, that's 2 couples. There are his son, Cameron, and his wife and their kid, that's 3 couples. And then Kevin's wife, Sterica, her son is in a room, and her daughter is in a room. So there's 5 rooms. And a big living room, and I'm sitting on the balcony right now watching the waves crash on the shore in the dark. It is about 8:45 at night. Very nice here. The place is the resort we're staying is great. There's 3 pools. Been spending a lot of time at the pool. So the fishing trip turned out great. I made it back to the hotel or the resort without being kidnapped. Another racist statement, because I had always heard all these things. You get kidnapped. Of course, I haven't made it back to San Francisco just yet, but so far so good. So that was a very successful trip. I was quite pleased with the captain of this boat who put me on the fish. Take another sip of this fine Tecate. Oh, that's good. Oh, that is good. I have been drinking Tecate, Modelo, and I just had an Indigo, I think, when I was waiting for tacos to be made that we brought back here. Those are the 3 beers that I've had so far, and I prefer the Indigo was really quality beer. I prefer the Tecate over the Modelos in Mexico. So the fishing trip was good. Yesterday we went scuba diving. I got certified before I went to Florida. I got certified. So me, my brother-in-law Kevin, and his son Cameron, and his wife, we all went scuba diving. There was another American couple from Arizona on the same boat. I was a little nervous about that because I've never actually scuba dived with tanks. I did get certified. I did that at a lake, but I've never done it in the ocean. Worked out okay. Saw some good fish. Saw some coral reefs, and it wasn't as nice as in the Keys, but it was fun. got a lot of exercise, and I learned a little bit more about scuba diving. We had a really good time, and it wiped me out, but it was fun. Today, we went about an hour outside of this town to a little village, and this man who built this shack himself for him and his wife, his entire life is devoted to rescuing sea turtles. The sea turtles come onto his property. He lives on the beach, and he's got like a shack he built on the beach. He's been doing this for years. He's like 65 or 60, in his late 60s. He's been rescuing baby sea turtles. Sea turtles come onto the beach and they lay their eggs, and he takes he hides the eggs from the predators and waits for their gestation period or whatever it takes for eggs. And we heard this whole story. It was an amazing story. Anyway, this guy takes the eggs, he buries them under the ground and guards them from predators like skunks and raccoons who come and eat baby turtle eggs. Excuse me, I don't have a cough button on the... Actually, I do. There, I'm back from coughing. He hides the eggs from the predators, the skunks and the raccoons, and when they go through their gestation period, he buries them. He takes them out. He does something, and what we did was we went to this guy's property. The guy dug up the baby turtles and put them in a little bowl for each of us, and it was time for those turtles to go back out to sea and grow into big turtles. And this guy has devoted his whole life to it. The guy was telling us the story that the guy has lived through hurricanes and was completely wiped out his place, and he still devoted his entire life to doing nothing but saving turtles. It was really, I got a little bit choked up listening to this guy tell these stories about this guy going through hurricanes and his place being destroyed, and his life is committed to saving turtles. I felt like a pussy. I was holding back tears listening to this shit. Anyway, so we each dug up 3 turtles and took them to the beach. We had to wait like 45 minutes for the when you dug them up, they were still asleep, and you had to wait for them to wake up. And the guy stuck one of the turtles and faced him away from the beach, and the thing turned around and somehow knew to go to the beach. So we each grabbed all of our turtles when they woke up and watched them make it into the water and go off into their life. And about 20% of these turtles survive. So we each had 3 turtles. I don't know whatever that is, how many survived. I think forte, as you know. So that was a very heartwarming trip today. It was hot as shit. The weather here is so effing hot. It's like 90 degrees in the morning. The pool water is 90 degrees. It's not a heated pool. But I'm enjoying myself. The turtle thing was really cool. Fishing was fantastic. The scuba diving was fun as well. Tomorrow, we're going to have a chef come to this place and prepare a Father's Day dinner for all of us. He's going to cook up the bonito, the mahi-mahi, the Spanish mackerel, and maybe some chicken enchiladas or something like that. That should be nice. The rest of the time is just going to be spent relaxing. And I fly back on Tuesday, and we get in late Tuesday, so we're going to stay at LAX overnight, and then our flight from LAX leaves the following morning to San Francisco, and I'll be back in San Francisco, if all goes as planned, around 8:30 a.m. Then I'll be back. Hopefully we'll be able to resume Rock and Roll Geek show as planned. But like I said before, I really appreciate you sticking with me on this, dealing with these dumb updates. Some people seem to like them. I don't know, maybe some people like them and some people don't. I don't know, but if you like them, I appreciate it. If you don't like them, I hope you don't unsubscribe. I hope you I'm trying to stay positive. I hope you stay subscribed to the Rock and Roll Geek Show. You know where it is, rockandrollgeek.com. Email me, rockandrollgeek@gmail.com, with the subject line, come on, Butler. We don't want to hear about your stupid luxury trip to Mexico, complaining about the heat while you're drinking your 8th Tecate of the day. Put that in the subject line, rockandrollgeek@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, friends. I will maybe do another update before I leave, but if I don't, I'll talk to you next week. And I don't know how to say stay frosty in Spanish, but stay el frosto, okay, friends? Let's close out with a song from the Babies. This is from Head First. This song is called Run to Mexico. I'll talk to you soon, friends. Stay frosty.
Let me know. It's a rock and roll geek train wreck.